Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to those who are here to testify today. Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Brasso, I also want to acknowledge that not a member of this committee, but we may as well call her a member. Darla has been here for I don't know how many years on the committee, and I understand that this may be 21 years on the committee. All right, that on this committee.
10 on this
10
committee.
on this committee. Oh, only 10 on this committee. Well, Darla, as one who has appreciated your guidance throughout all of these committee hearings that happen here in the Energy Committee, know that we wish you well in your retirement. But thank you for all that you have done. Nice to have your services. But now I expect you to give me my full 5 minutes here on the clock.
It doesn't matter, because I knew it would always be reserved for you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I want to follow up with your questions regarding the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, because I think it is important that as a committee here, we understand the status of this insurance policy. And I've always viewed it as an insurance policy, and one that we shouldn't draw down just when we're attempting to ameliorate prices or the politics that may come with it. And I think we saw when President Biden took the steps to withdraw significant volumes from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, 180 million barrels of oil over the course of 180 days. There's consequence to that. It's not just drawing it down. It's my understanding that the salt caverns actually degrade with each and every drawdown. Now, some years ago, we directed significant resources to the Department of Energy for the life extension of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We talked about the imperative to modernize and to effectively be able to move forward with a Strategic Petroleum Reserve that worked when we needed it to work. And so the Life Extension 2 project is underway. I'm wondering if you can give the committee a little bit of a status update on that, when it's scheduled to be completed. And then if you can speak to whether or not these this really unprecedented drawdown, is that contributing to the need for this emergency supplemental funding that has been requested for maintenance of the SPR?
Thank you, Senator. I just want to personally say it's an honor to be here today, because I was in one of those back benches back when another Senator Murkowski was chair of this committee, and there's
you go back a ways
there.
Yeah.
With regard to the SPR modernization, so Congress authorized us to raise funds from sales over 4 years, up to $2 billion. We ended up raising $1.4 billion, as we thought that was what would be sufficient to accomplish everything that we intended. Unfortunately, a number of factors, including supply chain problems and labor shortages and everything, we've seen rising costs associated with the project, just like everyone else has. So this $500 million that the administration has asked to be provided would allow us to complete all activities as part of the life extension.
And what's the timeline on that then?
So the timeline right now is to complete all activities by FY27, although a lot of them will be completed by a lot sooner than that, FY25 and FY26.
So can you speak to the degradation of the salt caverns then with these withdrawals?
Yes. So we use Sandia National Labs to help us monitor our caverns. Without our caverns, we don't have an SPR. And so we take the condition of them very seriously. As you said, every time we pump water in to push oil out, I wouldn't call it degrades, But there's a limited amount of times that we can do that, so we work closely with Sandia to make sure that we still have plenty of opportunity to remove oil from the caverns. I'll just stop there.
Okay. I want to,
I lost my train of thought.
well,
That's what happens when you're around this long.
but there is impact. There clearly is impact. I think we get that. I have just a few, just 1 minute remaining here, and I want to direct it to you, Ms. Culver, and it relates to the Ambler Access Project. As you know, less than 50 miles of this proposed road is across federal land. The remaining is across state land and ANC-owned land. Can you share with me or explain why the BLM has exerted authority across the entirety of the project area, and really what gives the agency the authority to deny the ANCs the ability to conduct this non-groundbreaking pre-construction activities, the baseline data gathering activities, whether it's cultural assessments and inventories? I know the state of Alaska has directed some correspondence to the district manager there in Alaska. This was mid-November, asking for an answer to the state's request, asking for an answer by today. I don't know whether a response has been sent to that, but can you speak to how you believe that the BLM has the authority here when, again, so much is not part of the federal domain?
Thanks for the question, Senator. I do know that our Alaska State BLM Director is in contact with the state of Alaska, so I expect they are communicating about that request. You know, the process around the Ambler Road is ongoing. We have taken that back from the court, and we have committed to not engaging in or permitting surface disturbing activities while ongoing supplemental environmental analysis and consultation is underway.
I do understand that as it relates to federal land, but again, when the vast majority is on state-owned land and an ANC, Alaska Native Corporation-owned land, I don't understand how the agency feels that they have that authority to disallow any non-groundbreaking activities, whether it's cultural assessment, which you would hope would be delegated to the ANCs in the first place.
And our authority that we are looking at is currently, I think what you're referring to, relates to our agreement under the National Historic Preservation Act and the programmatic agreement that's in place that applies to all aspects of these projects. And we are, again, committed to the court to avoid disturbing activities.
Right. And if you will go back to this letter dated November 18th, you'll see that these pre-construction activities have been approved by the state, and they've been determined by the SHPO that these activities will have no adverse effect to historic and cultural resources. So again, we're going to have additional conversation about this, but I think it's very clear from the state's perspective, and I think it's very clear from our perspective back here, that the decisions coming out of the agency right now are in direct contrast to what we believe the authorities are.
I appreciate that and look forward to ongoing discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cortez.